Well, I think the three Ps have always been discussed in the industry. But I think, what is most important is, people and the planet, should go before profit. I think that's quite clear. And what we have actually found all these years is that if we do things which is good, for the planet, it's also good, for the business, and vice versa as well. So in 2018, we started the Green Terminal program. And as part of that, we have the annual Green Week exercise. But we didn't stop from at that point. We actually then focus on the 17 UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and then came up with a whole series of programs, thanks to my team, especially Winnie, our Executive Director for Branding and Communications. Now, what we have done is that we constantly remind people the importance of these 17 SDGs. And a lot of our work, surrounds around that. So each year when we do the calendar, when we do souvenirs, we remind people which out of these SDGs are related to. When we do our different sustainability initiatives, we also do the same.
This is the new conversation series that we are bringing you from Air Cargo China in Shanghai. And with me in today for conversation series is Wilson Kwong. He is the CEO of Hactl. Wilson, great to have you for this conversation.
Thank you for inviting me, Reji.
Wilson, you completed about 6 years as a CEO of Hactl. And what is unique about Hactl, which I myself have seen it and read about it, is the culture of equality and inclusivity that you bring within your organization. Tell us about the factors that actually make you create an organization of that sort.
All right. Well, I think this is a very good question because it brings back many memories. I've been in this role for just over 6 years, but it feels a bit longer. But I must say, when I joined the organization, when I joined Hactl in 2018, it was an organization with teams full of passion. They have a good sense of purpose, and they're very committed, not only to contribute towards Hactl or the air cargo industry, to Hong Kong and to the world in general. So for me, I think it was, a delight actually having to join. And for me, what I've done mostly in the past 6 years is just to formalize things together. Formalize things which in many cases have already started, many by my predecessor, Mr. Mark Whitehead, and many initiatives from our colleagues themselves. Sustainability being a key case in point. We started the Green Week, the Green Terminal program in 2018, and we formalized a structure which now becomes a daily, monthly, and a yearly routine for our team. And it's not just about formally, about saving the environment, saving the planet and all that. There's been a lot of fun too. But jokes aside and fun aside, Hactl remains an organization which has very strong camaraderie, great family spirit, a great team who are all eager, to contribute something towards the air cargo industry. And that, I must say, I'm really proud even today.
Wilson, how do you bring together the different aspects of your business, particularly when you look at from the sustainability point of view? You have people, planet, and profit. And how do you strike a balance among those three different factors?
Well, I think the three Ps have always been discussed in the industry. But I think, what is most important is, people and the planet, should go before profit. I think that's quite clear. And what we have actually found all these years is that if we do things which is good, for the planet, it's also good, for the business, and vice versa as well. So in 2018, we started the Green Terminal program. And as part of that, we have the annual Green Week exercise. But we didn't stop from at that point. We actually then focus on the 17 UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and then came up with a whole series of programs, thanks to my team, especially Winnie, our Executive Director for Branding and Communications. Now, what we have done is that we constantly remind people the importance of these 17 SDGs. And a lot of our work, surrounds around that. So each year when we do the calendar, when we do souvenirs, we remind people which out of these SDGs are related to. When we do our different sustainability initiatives, we also do the same. And then when we talk about, Green Week, Apart from just asking people to save on energy and all that, we actually work with the local community, the charities, to help those in need. When we change our uniform, we turn our old but unused uniform into upcycled, reusable, very purposeful, bags, goodie bags, as well as teddy bears. Teddy bears, which signifies, the different uniforms which colleagues used to have. That meant a lot to them. For a lot of the frontline colleagues, what they had in the organization was the uniform, their locker perhaps, and the route they go to work and the terminal they work in. And be able to actually hold part of that uniform as a memory is actually something which we felt very strongly for our staff well-being. It's not just only that, we use that as part of our customer engagement, shall we say, stakeholder engagement exercise. And I'm very glad to see our teddy bears now going everywhere across the world, being featured in many places. So actually, if we do something right for the planet, if we do something right for the people, the profit will come.
Wilson, it looks like you are starting changes, revolutions, and very, very small things. That's where you start. And then you're able to get your organization and your people to back you up. And then these are small changes, but in the long term, it's with a big impact. Is that a right way that I'm able to kind of read your strategy as far as sustainability is concerned for Hactl?
Absolutely. We started off in 2018 with a green terminal project. At that, we announced about the whole scheme that we want to make our terminal green. But then we realized that in order to do so, bit by bit, actually, we have to change people's behavior. So we started rolling out individual projects, which on its face value actually may help save the environment, but it does a lot more. I'll give you an example. We have mobile computing for our frontline colleagues. Mobile computing, which helps telling them where the individual ULDs has to be loaded onto an aircraft. We have instructions on how the cones are to be placed on the ramp and so forth. Now, you may say, well, what has that got to do with sustainability? Well, it has to do with sustainability because in order to do, mobile computing, yes, you invest a bit on the computing technology, but actually it helps improve accuracy. It helps, reduce paper going back and forth the terminal onto the ramp. And it also saves, not just paper, but the journeys which you have to take. Now, this is just one of the many examples. Right now, we are trying out autonomous electric tractors, which helps automating some of the processes as well. Now, you may say, why do we do it that way? Because we want to tell everyone in Hactl, especially frontline colleagues, that they can make all the difference. It is us, the 2,000 of us, that collectively, we are making a difference not just to Hactl, but to the industry and to the world. So for us, the challenge is not with getting buy-in. We have over half of our colleagues which have served the organization for more than 10 years. They're very committed. They understand what we are trying to do. We, plan in games when we try to promote the UN SDGs. And I think they are buying in. The initiative which we did just help reinforce that message and to help us move forward even stronger.
Going forward, where will be your investment going into? People, systems, technology?
Oh, interesting questions. Because during COVID and before COVID, during COVID and post-COVID, we never stopped investment. In fact, we actually ramped up on our investment during COVID when it was a period where we can actually do more modifications. Now, I must say, when it comes to investment, we have to focus on all three: people, systems, and infrastructure, right? I mean, we all three have to be done, and we are doing all three at the moment.
Something that caught my attention in your latest Hactl magazine is your 3-year elite management trainee program that you introduced in 2023. And the purpose was to actually nurture young talents and make them future leaders, where you had like 500 applicants, but you only picked about 6 made it through the rigorous selection process. Tell us about this. These are young talent that you're bringing in. air cargo is normally associated with very senior people with several years of experience. This is one way of getting new talent into it. Going forward, will this be something that you will pursue much more?
I must say, I'm very proud of the Elite Management Program. But before that, thank you for reading Hactl Link and for following our stories. Now, I would say I personally am very committed to this program, not only because it's a new initiative by us, but as you said rightly, Reji, that in this industry, we tend to be more associated with people with perhaps slightly more experience, shall we say. But I started off as a management trainee. I started off on the passenger side of the business, and I started off as a check-in agent. I have been through all the operations, and I now have been given opportunities to head such a magnificent organization called Hactl. So it's only right for us and for me to give the younger generation the same opportunity. Yes, you're absolutely correct. 500 applicants, we took in 6. And to be honest, there was a very rigorous recruitment exercise as well. We had an introduction to all 500 of them. And unlike others, where we typically do the milk run at universities, we actually invited them to Hactl. We invited them to a sidewalk so that they know what it is about, what our industry is about. We then, apart from the usual aptitude tests and all these assessment criteria, we had them to do a outward bound program. So outward bound to test their teamwork, to test their leadership. It was vigorous, I must say, and to be honest, it was deliberate. After a few rounds, including a round where they do a presentation to senior management, and I attended some of the sessions, we then selected 6. Now, in the latest edition of Hactl Link, we featured 3 of them. So Tamara was featured, Seth and Timothy. And we have 3 more, okay? And I'm sure you see, the others in the subsequent editions. But this is not the only route in Hactl, which we try to bring the younger generation into the management positions. Hactl historically has had many different types of training program, and we still do. With supervisory training program, with operational training program, with IT, system analyst training programs, with operational engineering training programs. So the Elite Management Training Program is only one of the routes. And this year, we actually have one of existing trainees within Hactl who successfully applied to the EMT program, as you can see from Hactl Link. So this is just one of the many routes which people could get into, but we want to give more chance to the younger generation. And these EMTs, among our fellow trainees, will be the backbone of our management team going forward, and will one day be interviewed by that time.
And you will have this as a regular program every year?
Oh yes. This year we have already, we have started recruitment. We're already finalizing on the recruitment already. So they will be joining right after the summer.
You have huge response for that as well? Several hundred entries?
Oh yeah. We always have hundreds of people applying for it. Now, this is not a numbers game. We don't want to try to get thousands or 10,000. It's not like that. We would rather be selective. So we are selectively working with the universities as well to tell them about the industry, to tell them about the career path. And we will group them together to explain and introduce them more about the industry. So we are very selective process. Yeah, but we want to make it a truly worthwhile experience, not just for the trainees or the applicants, or if they get in for the trainees and, after they join, as a colleague. We put in actually a lot of management efforts into them. All 6 elite management trainees now have a mentor who are direct reports of me. So they all have individual mentors who meet with them regularly. And I will meet with them from time to time too. So this is a serious management commitment. But I just want to say as well, that our management commitment is to not just the EMTs, but to all the other trainees as well. So we are regularly meeting the other trainees as well in the organization. We're very serious about developing the younger generation.
Excellent. Wilson, I want to conclude this interview just asking you to reflect on the air cargo market in general globally. 6 months gone for the year 2024. Looks like there's a very strong demand, and that demand is going to continue for the next foreseeable future. What is your reading of the air cargo market, particularly driven by e-commerce and other critical commodities.
All right, okay. Well, firstly, I must congratulate Reji for moderating very good sessions these 2 days at Air Cargo China. I think a consistent message we are hearing from the participants, I would summarize as like twofold. I think one is on the e-commerce side, it has taken off definitely since last quarter of last year in 2023, and it has continued. We are seeing the same trend in Hong Kong as well and in Hactl. Secondly, I think this industry has to deal with and will continue to deal with uncertainties. What has happened with the marine freight, what has happened with geopolitics, it will continue to test air cargo. And for us as air cargo practitioners, our goal, our role is to ensure that the air cargo supply chains remain fully functional. Something which I have been continuing to impress upon my 2,000 colleagues at during COVID. That's the purpose of Hactl, is to keep the air cargo supply chain going. So yes, I think if I look at 2024, it looks a very positive year. We may well enter into the peak of the peaks later this year, and we are starting to prepare for that. Everyone talks about capacity constraints, whether you're an airline or whether you're a ground handling agent, it is the same. And I encourage everyone to step up on the communications so that everyone together can plan better. Because the air cargo industry can only handle so much, but we can only handle so much if we collaborate more by being transparent to each other and being realistic with our goals. But from Hactl, we have been through it during COVID. We have proved the world that we will not let the world down. And once again, whether it's peak or the peak of the peaks, we'll continue to do the same.
Wilson, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure talking to you and having you with us for the series.
Thank you, Reji, for inviting me. It's an honor. Thank you.